Out there to my San Diego family, and big shout out to all my friends watching on TV, online, or on your phone. This is the Fox 5 Sports Final. I'm Frank Jefferson. It's Friday night in Petco Park, and just like when that hotline bling, it can only mean one thing. Padres wearing their City Connect jerseys. They're undefeated in these uniforms, looking to keep it that way. We go to the bottom of the first. You call him Voit, I call him Sinatra. Voit saying, "Come fly with me," sending this one high into the stands. See you later. Rounding the bases for his 13th homer of the season, Padres up 2-0. To the second, Blake Snell on the hill doing his thing. 6 innings, 7 strikeouts, holding it down on the mound. We stay in the second, and Kim, he must have watched Disney Channel growing up, showing the fans with Kim, anything's possible. Cracks this one to left field, gone. Friars on fire, up 3-0. We go to the top of the fourth, and the Twins would not go quietly into the night. Buxton hushing the crowd, hitting this one to the upper deck like it's nothing. Twins score, Pods still lead 3-1. Bottom of the fifth, Manny out there getting handy. All over this one, saying bye-bye birdie, 2-run shot, crowds going wild, and Padres up 6-1. We stay in the fifth. Alfaro at the plate, hair looking glorious, swing looking better. Connected in the City Connect jerseys, and the Padres still undefeated in these uniforms. If you ask me, they should wear them every night, getting the dominant win, 10-1. And just a reminder, tomorrow's game between the Padres and the Twins, you can watch it right here on Fox 5. Our coverage of that game begins at 4 p.m. and hometown hero Joe Musgrove on the mound for the Friars. And speaking of Joe, the first-time All-Star talking with the team about a contract extension, expecting a 5-year, $100 million deal. Last year, the Grossmont High graduate threw the only no-hitter in franchise history, plus having a 2.63 ERA, 5th in the National League. Needless to say, you want to keep this guy happy. Nothing is set in stone just yet, but both sides hope everything will be signed, sealed, and delivered by early next week. And more pitching news. After getting the results from Mackenzie Gore's MRI, the Padres fans, you could sit back and take a little sigh of relief. The team says they're feeling encouraged. The MRI showing no ligament damage, expecting Gore to be shut down for the next few weeks. But after that, starting a throwing progression. And for the Padres, this is a win-win situation. Gore was one of the names floating around to get traded for Washington superstar Juan Soto. Despite Gore's injury, he's still a nice trade piece. And if he stays with San Diego, they're keeping a good young pitcher, which is always a good weapon to have. Here's Bob Melvin about Gore's injury and his journey back to the mound.
You know, we're shut him down for 2 weeks. Structurally, everything looked pretty good in there compared to the past. You know, low-grade strain, and I think we caught a break as far as that goes. Won't throw baseball for a couple weeks, and then once we get him back ramped up, we'll see where he's at. I'm just happy that we didn't get, you know, bad news as far as that went. So, you know, if everything went smoothly, there's a chance he could show up at some point in time in September, but that's way ahead of ourselves right now.
The Padres still chasing the Dodgers for the top spot in the NL West, but the boys in blue just don't seem to go away. In Colorado, taking on the Rockies, top of the first, Will Smith slaps a 435-foot bomb to left, putting the Dodgers up 2-0 early. Then in the second, Trace Thompson cracks one. Not quite as far as Will's homer, but 430 feet will do. The former Friar makes it 4-0 Dodgers. They go on to win 5-4, maintaining their 12-game lead on the Padres for first, and that's 22 wins in their last 26 games. Rocky, Drago, Apollo Creed, all great boxers, but like Marvin Gaye said, ain't nothing like the real thing. 14 wins, 6 knockouts, and 25-year-old Noel Larios Jr. is definitely the real thing. Why this middleweight boxer says his family is the main reason he's so successful inside the ring.
To most people, this is just a garage. But for middleweight boxer Noel Larios Jr., it's not only his gym 3 times a week, it's one of the only places that keeps him grounded.
This just puts me in that perspective, like, all right, well, now, right now you're here, you know, but eventually you're gonna have your own setup, you're gonna have your own everything, but the time to grind is now.
When he was 8 years old, he started boxing. He always dreamed of being hoisted up on someone's shoulders as a champion. That someone, more than likely, his dad, a former boxer who's helping his son achieve his dream.
He's everything. Without him, I honestly would have never considered boxing at all. I wouldn't even have thought of that as being a sport that I wanted to do when I was little. It never came to mind.
Toward the end of his amateur career, Larios started to feel burnt out. When his training wavered, this message from his dad helped propel him to the pros.
You're not going to be working construction like your dad. You're not going to be doing this for a long time like me. You got to do something. And if you really want to do this boxing, you got to start getting serious and commit to it.
Larios says he always knew he had the support of the people who live here, but what surprised him was how much support he received from his neighbors who live here in Ramona.
On all my social media platforms, they're always backing me. Even people that I've never met, they just see that I'm from Ramona and they're like, dude, keep going. Like, they send me messages. Like, it's a lot of support here, man. I love it.
Larios is currently 14-2. He was undefeated until his last 2 fights, planning to turn those losses to lessons to help get his next win.
The motivation that I have now is just to this point where I know my time's coming, and I know those last 2 fights are going to get me where I want to be and where I'm supposed to be.
Typically, Aaron Judge hits home runs like the 2 he had tonight, but he also robs them. More after the break.